They got together one night, I guess, and said, hey, try to buy everybody out in Mossville. They did that, but everybody didn't sell.
This is Mossville, Louisiana, 18 miles from the Texas border, predominant African-American community that has never been incorporated.
So therefore the government allowed the plants to move in, and okay, you're here, you've got what you want, but you are not gonna take my property for pennies.
I don't think it's worth it. The money that they giving, man, it ain't worth it. That ain't worth all the years people that put in, staying out here, fixing on their properties.
What's fair for you might not be fair for me. I'm not talking about Miss Ann or Miss Joanne or Mr. Green or Mr. Collard Green. I'm talking about me.
There's a lot of talk in Mossville, Louisiana lately. SASOL, a South African chemical company, is making one of the largest foreign direct investments in U.S. history right next door. Capitalizing on the nation's natural gas boom, SASOL is building an ethane cracker and gas-to-liquids facility. But the historic black community where they're building it is already surrounded by 14 industrial chemical plants and refineries. So SASOL has decided it's better business and in the best interest of long-term residents to buy out the entire town, leaving families like the Clophuses with tough decisions to make. That's especially tough when the grandkids don't want to leave.
It was between them and the wife. Now, I'm in the middle. I got to make the decision, and I kept thinking, I said, it's an old house. It's an old house.
Finally, he broke the news to the kids.
Before my mom made a decision, we're going to sell the place.
SASOL is buying places from prospective sellers for $100,000, plus 60% of the appraised value of the home. The Clophuses say they feel lucky to have found a brand new home from the buyout without a mortgage to pay.
And sure, yeah, it's hard to find a house for $150,000. I understand that too. That's why a lot of people don't want to leave right now. But to me, I didn't need a better offer. I found a place that I liked, so I went with it.
Deciding what to do has been hard for many residents, but the decision to build a $21 billion chemical plant next to Mossville was far easier for SASOL. Everything the company was looking for can be found in southwest Louisiana.
The LNG facilities that had been built here to import natural gas provided a huge infrastructure for gas collection. You also have a deep water port, you have tremendous rail access, you have great highway access, and you have access to most cross-country pipelines that are carrying crude oil-based products like gasoline, diesel, and so forth.
It's an ideal site, but residential zoning has the chemical plants growing alongside homes.
We don't think that our facility is going to represent an environmental harm, an environmental hazard, a safety harm or safety hazard, but just by virtue of how close we will be to those neighborhoods, we felt it appropriate to honor the request to give those individuals the opportunity to move.
The opportunity to leave is what residents like Dorothy Felix and the Mossville Environmental Action Now group have been advocating for. They say toxic pollutants released into the air, water, and ground have caused cancer, hormonal problems, and other deadly diseases in the community. While it's tough to pinpoint any one plant among the 14 for their ailments, the group says their human rights have been violated.
We will not stumble and allow them to do this to every community that is poor and can't fight back. We won't allow it.
Buying all the property from Louisiana towns like Mossville isn't a new strategy. Diamond, Morrisonville, Sunrise, Revilletown have all gone through similar buyouts, and all were founded by freed slaves. Mossville was founded in 1865 and became one of the first settlements of free blacks in the South. Julia Gordwin's family roots go back to the early 1800s, and she's kind of an expert in the town's history.
Yeah, I think I'm the expert because everybody else is dead, honey.
As she visits the graves of her ancestors,
Let's go see the dead back here.
the idea of the town disappearing is hard to take.
Can you believe that we are selling everything and leaving Mossville? I just hate to leave because we won't know everybody like we did here. Your neighbors being just like your sisters or your brothers. She was a Perkins.
Still, she says she's ready to take the buyout and say farewell to Mossville. She even wants to have a mock funeral for the town.
We want a second line like New Orleans. We're going to bear her. Marching like that, getting down. Yes.
but Dorothy Felix says no. Although her group has been asking for the buyout, she says the price isn't fair, so she's holding out for a better offer.
I'm going to get my offer. I pray strong, hard, and to the right man.
And others simply won't consider any offers at all. Bishop Johnny Clophus, Wilfred Clophus's father, says God told him to build his church.
I would sell it after disobeying God.
The 83-year-old bishop said he'd made the mistake of selling once in the late 90s, during a previous buyout on the east side of Mossville. He was left without a church for 2 years and moved the congregation to a new building. It's an experience they don't want to repeat.
We had a number of people who said, Mossville is my home, I love where I live, and I'm not going to sell. And we said, okay, we'll work with you as a near neighbor going forward.
But there won't be many neighbors. The owners of 229 houses in Mossville have accepted SASOL's buyout so far. Hundreds of others have applied and are still in process. As more houses are demolished, more driveways lead to empty lots.
There were way more houses than this on this street, you know?
Craig Mayo grew up in Mossville, and he regrets losing all the neighbors he used to look up to. He doesn't understand why they're giving up.
Can't give up. You gotta fight. You gotta do something, you know?
But you don't live here.
No, I don't live here no more.
See, this is what I say. I'm not going to do a lot of fighting a big company, because I can't by myself. Not even with a dozen of me, we couldn't fight a big company like that. So why fight against what you asked for and God came along and gave it to you, and you're going to fight it? No, that sounds stupid to me.
Still, closing down an entire community isn't as simple as it sounds.
Where in Mossville do you draw the line?
This belongs to SASOL.
They stopped right there where I showed you, where them trees at. Everybody stopped it. So what I do, I buy about 100 yards on the other side of the trees.
With both children and grandchildren still living in Mossville, Wilfred and Cynthia Clophus wanted to stay close. So they bought their new house just outside the buyout border, despite the hazards.
We're still not safe where we are. I mean, I didn't want to leave my kids. You trade off one thing for the other.
They gotta stop somewhere. They can't just keep going all the way to Texas. You know what I mean? They gotta stop somewhere.